I can't stop thinking about how weird that is. Like, we're the ones with electricity, comfort, endless entertainment, a remote control that's basically a magic wand. And yet, that feast night looks more alive than the infinite menu. So the question sneaks in, almost against my will. Did people in the past have more fun than we do today? Even though they had almost nothing. Not better lives, not more ethical societies, just more fun. More of that feeling where your brain stops negotiating and you just join the moment. And the first thing that comes to mind is this idea from Barry Schwartz, the paradox of choice. When options are limited, choosing is simple. When options explode, choosing becomes this anxious little performance. Because with infinite choices, you're not just picking a show, you're picking a version of yourself. If there are 3 things to watch, you pick one and you're done. If there are 3,000, every choice feels like it has consequences. What if there's a better one? What if I waste my night? What if I pick something dumb and feel guilty the whole time? So instead of watching anything, you browse, you optimize, you keep the door open. And here's the first honest question for you. When was the last time more options actually made you feel relaxed? Not empowered? Not proud of the concept of freedom? Actually relaxed. Because in real life, the infinite menu doesn't feel like freedom. It feels like standing in front of a fridge at 2 in the morning with the door open, getting colder and hungrier by the second. Now, there's another psychological ingredient that the past had, almost by accident, and we're starving for it now. Anticipation. Daniel Kahneman talks about how we have an experiencing self that lives the moment, and a remembering self that keeps the story. And Dan Gilbert has this whole thing about affective forecasting, how bad we are at predicting what will make us happy, and for how long. But zoom out, and you get something simpler. Waiting makes things bigger. Scarcity makes desire louder. If the village feast happens once a year, it's not just a party, it's a star in the calendar. People talk about it, plan for it, imagine it. The waiting is part of the pleasure, like the brain is inflating the balloon ahead of time. We don't do that much anymore. We have now. We have instant. We have on demand. And it sounds like paradise until you realize something. On-demand joy is smaller. It's flatter. It has no runway. So let me ask you something. What's the last thing you looked forward to for weeks? Like genuinely. Not the I hope this goes okay feeling. The warm, electric, I can't wait feeling. Because anticipation isn't just a delay, it's a multiplier. Now add one more piece. This one is huge. And it explains why that medieval scene feels so intense even if you're just watching it. Flow. Psychologist Csikszentmihalyi described flow as that state where you're fully absorbed. Clear goal. Immediate feedback. The challenge matches your skill. Time gets weird. Self-consciousness quiets down. And here's the part that's almost funny. Pre-modern life accidentally created flow conditions all the time. Not because it was easy. Because it was concrete. You chop wood. There is wood. You knead dough. The dough changes under your hands. You fix a fence. It stands. Your attention stays on one thing for long stretches because what else is there doing a hostile takeover of your focus? No notifications. No 15 apps fighting for your eyeballs. No quick check that turns into 40 minutes. A lot of modern life, work and leisure, shreds attention into tiny pieces. Even relaxing becomes half relaxing because part of your brain is still scanning, still choosing, still comparing. And it's hard to enter flow when the environment is designed to yank you out of it. Okay, so what did people actually do for fun before electricity? Because it wasn't just work, suffer, die. People weren't robots. There were feast days, dancing, games, music, flirting, gossip, storytelling that wasn't content. It was performance. And something I love from historian Roger Ekirch's work is the old pattern of first sleep. A lot of people didn't sleep in one clean 8-hour block. They'd have a first sleep, wake up for a while during a quiet watch period, and then go back for a second sleep. And that watch time created this naturally social, naturally reflective pocket of night. People would sit by the fire, talk, visit neighbors, tell stories, pray, sometimes do chores, sometimes do things that are very human. The point is that the day wasn't one long, optimized, electrified strip. Life had seams in it, pauses, shared darkness, and then you've got communal labor, harvests, barn raisings, seasonal rituals. Work and social life weren't separate categories. You were with people while doing necessary things. You didn't need to schedule a hangout. The hangout was built into survival. Now compare that to today, where we have to text 3 times and check 6 calendars just to see a friend for 90 minutes. Which brings us to the hedonic treadmill. We adapt. We normalize. The brain does this automatically. So a peasant's one annual feast might hit like fireworks because it's rare. It burns a bright mark into the year. But our feasts are daily, sugar whenever, entertainment whenever, comfort whenever, novelty whenever. And the tragic comedy is this: when pleasure becomes constant, it stops feeling like pleasure. It becomes background noise. And then you need more just to feel anything. So here's a third question. If you lost your modern comforts for 1 week, just one, what would suddenly feel like a feast again? Not what you'd post about missing. What your nervous system would actually light up for. Now, there's one more factor that I think is the quiet killer of modern fun. And it's not technology itself. It's what technology quietly replaced. Loneliness. Robert Putnam's book Bowling Alone is basically a long, sad story about social connection collapsing. Less community participation, fewer shared groups, fewer gathering spaces, fewer rituals that pull people together. And again, the past wasn't perfect. But it was harder to be invisible. In a village, you were woven into other lives whether you liked it or not. Your fun was synchronized, your time was shared. Now we live in personalized bubbles, personalized feeds, personalized entertainment, personalized schedules. Even if two people love the same show, they might watch it alone, at different times, and never actually share the emotional moment together. And fun, real fun, is contagious. It spreads through bodies. It's the laughter you borrow from somebody else before you even understand the joke. So let me ask you this, because it's a little uncomfortable, but important. How often do you have fun that requires other people? Where you're not consuming. You're participating. Not, I watched something funny. You were part of the funny. Now, before we get carried away and start romanticizing mud and candlelight, we have to say the honest counter-argument out loud. The past wasn't an aesthetic. It was pain. Cold that didn't politely stay outside. Hunger that wasn't a reset. Illness with no relief. Grief that arrived constantly. Childbirth that could be deadly. A bad harvest that could ruin everything. And plenty of people had community, sure, along with strict hierarchies, harsh judgment, and very little escape. So no, I'm not saying the past was better. I'm saying the brain might have been more at home in it, because what our minds seem built for isn't infinite choice. It's bounded choice. Not constant availability, but anticipation. Not fragmented attention, but flow. Not isolated convenience, but shared rhythm. And when you put a brain built for that into a world of endless menus, it doesn't always feel lucky. Sometimes it just feels quietly miserable, like it's doing math instead of living. So the landing isn't go back. It's more like this. Understand the trap. The trap is that infinity looks like freedom, but infinity can erase meaning, because meaning needs edges, endings, scarcity, ritual, other people. And I'll leave you with this thought. No solution, just a question that I can't shake. If fun is partly the feeling of being pulled into a moment without having to choose it, then what happens to a life where you have to choose everything all the time?